world's great novels. The National Broadcasting Company presents the first episode in its three-part dramatization of Charles Dickens' thrilling story of the French Revolution, A Tale of Two Cities, another in its series of books that live the world's great novels.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of folly. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of doubt. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going straight the other way. It was the year of our Lord, 1775. And in November of this year of 1775, the surface of life went on as usual. So, as usual, the heavy mail coach with its steaming horses made its slow way from London to discharge a single passenger, an orderly, methodical man of business, one Jarvis Lorry, from Tellson's Bank of London and Paris, at the Royal George Hotel at Dover.
Before I go to my room, let me say there will be a young lady asking for me. Mr. Jarvis Lorry. When she comes...
The young lady is here, sir.
Already? Well, better get to me at once.
Yes, sir. I will request her to come, sir.
Now then, Lorry, business. Remember, it is business. But 18 years. Buried alive for 18 years. How am I to tell her?
Here is the young lady, sir.
You may go.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Manette, I kiss your hand.
Pray sit down, sir.
And you, miss.
I received the letter from the bank. It is most kind of you to protect me on my journey to Paris.
A pleasure, Miss Manette.
Can you explain? The letter said something had been discovered about my poor father's property.
It's property, yes.
He had been dead so long. What is it about?
It's rather difficult to begin.
Mr. Lorry, are you quite a stranger to me?
Am I not?
I don't know. I sensed it. But go on.
Well, then, Miss Manette, I should like to tell you the story of one of our customers.
A story?
Yes, about a doctor. He was from Beauvais.
My father was a doctor from Beauvais.
This doctor, I knew him in Paris. He was well known there. He dealt with my bank, with Tellson's.
When was this?
Well, we see now, 20 years ago. The doctor had a wife, an English lady.
Mr. Lorry, I know you now. It was you who brought me to England after my mother died. I'm sure it was you.
Yes, it was I, Miss Manette.
Then this must be my father's story.
Until now, they are the same. But now, miss, if your father had not died, if he had been spirited away, put in prison...
What are you telling me?
If this man had had a child...
A daughter?
A daughter. And if the doctor's wife had determined to spare her child any pain, had raised her in the belief that her father was dead...
The truth. I pray you, sir, the truth.
This is what your mother did. She tried to find him. She tried endlessly until her heart broke. But she left you to grow up beautiful and happy. She spared you the pain.
And now, the letter. What does it mean?
Miss Manette, your father has been found.
Found? My father is alive?
He is alive. That is why we are going to Paris.
Alive? My father.
Please, Miss Manette.
I have been free. I have been happy. And he...
You will make him happy now. You will bring him back to life and love and comfort.
I have been free all these years. Why did he not haunt me? His ghost. Mr. Lorry, I am going to see his ghost. It will be his ghost, not my father.
Paris, where reign a king with a large jaw and a queen with a fair face. Paris, where one of the towers of Notre Dame looks down on the Grand Hotel of a Monseigneur, the preparation of whose morning chocolate requires the aid of 4 strong men, in addition to the cook. And where the other tower of Notre Dame looks toward the quarter of Saint Antoine, in the streets of which the spilling of a barrel of wine is enough to bring the human rats out of every corner. Saint Antoine, like all of France, has its own Monseigneurs: cold, dirt, sickness, and want. All of them nobles of great power who abide fittingly in the narrow, stinking streets. On the corner of one stands a wine shop, whose proprietor holds nightly converse with his friends, while his wife, like all the women of Saint Antoine, sits with her knitting, keeping her fingers busy, that the stomach may be less sensible of its want of work, until the appearance of 2 newcomers causes the shop to empty quickly, and the proprietor shortly to leave also with his visitors.
Here are the stairs. Begin slowly. The climb is long.
Is the doctor alone, Monsieur Defarge?
Alone. God help him, who should be with him?
Is he always alone?
Of necessity, Monsieur Laurie. When they brought him to me, they warned me at my peril to be discreet.
We are most grateful to you.
I was his servant through many years, mademoiselle. If I can serve him still...
Is he greatly changed?
Changed? In the name of the devil, what do you expect?
Perhaps he will have to stay a while until he gets stronger.
He cannot. He must be gotten out of France at once. His life depends on it.
Is it much farther?
Only at the top of this flight.
Oh, you have a key, monsieur. The door is locked.
Aye, it is necessary.
But why?
Why? Because he was locked up so long he'd tear himself to pieces if his door were left open.
Is it possible?
Many things are possible. Many things are done every day under that sky there. Long live the devil.
Is it you, Jacques?
It is I, Jacques.
Who are these 3 men?
Leave us, good boys. We have business here.
Aye, Jacques. We have seen him. They were looking through the keyhole. You make a show of Monsieur Manette.
To a chosen few.
Is that well?
I think it is well. I show him to men of my name. Men named Jacques. The sight will do them good. Wait a moment.
Why do you do that?
This, too, is necessary. You in there.
Why does he shout at him?
Hush, my dear. Come in. Come in.
I am afraid.
Come forward, mademoiselle.
Yes.
There is nothing to fear.
What is he doing? What is that work?
He's making shoes. All day from dawn to black dark, he's making shoes. You are still at work, I see.
Yes. I am working.
Are you going to finish that pair of shoes today?
I suppose so.
Oh, my father.
Hush, my dear.
You have a visitor.
What did you say?
Show monsieur the shoe you are working at.
May I take it?
Tell monsieur what kind of shoe it is.
It is a lady's shoe. It is a lady's walking shoe.
Tell monsieur your name.
Give me my shoe. What is your name, shoemaker? My name? Yes. Tell me your name. My name. Number 105 North Tower. 105 North Tower. 105 North Tower.
Thus is a man buried alive for 18 years, dug out and recalled to life. Slowly, with loving tenderness in the years that follow, did Lucie nurse her father back to health and refire the full vigor of his prison-dimmed mind. At the end of 5 years came a day that he will afterwards remember. A certain day in a courtroom.
Dr. Manette, you've heard the testimony against the prisoner, Charles Darnay.
I have.
You have heard Mr. John Barstead, the witness for the Crown, testify that the said Charles Darnay is a traitor to England by reason of certain documents he has delivered into the hands of the French government.
Yes.
You have heard your daughter, Miss Lucy Manette, testify that 5 years ago she met the accused aboard a packet ship which was bringing you from France.
My daughter testified most unhappily, as her tears must have proved. It is not our wish to rouse Mr. Darnay.
The court is not concerned with the manner of her testimony. Will you look upon the prisoner? You ever seen him before?
Once, he called at my lodgings in London 3 years ago.
You cannot identify him as your fellow passenger aboard the packet?
I cannot, sir.
Is there any special reason why you cannot?
There is.
You underwent a long imprisonment without trial in your native France, did you not, Dr. Manette?
A very long imprisonment.
On the occasion of your being aboard the packet 5 years ago, you were newly released?
They tell me so.
You do not remember?
I remember nothing. From sometime during my confinement until I found myself living in London with my dear daughter, my mind is a blank.
That will do, Dr. Manette. I wish to recall the Crown's estimable witness, Mr. John Barsad.
John Barsad! John Barsad! Yes, sir?
Mr. Barsad, you have declared that the servant of the prisoner discovered these traitorous documents in the prisoner's possession 5 years ago and reported them to you.
He did his duty like I did mine.
You are a courageous man. Now, you also declare that you saw the prisoner, Charles Darnay, take the mail coach for Dover shortly thereafter.
I did.
I only wish to impress your testimony on the court. Thank you, Mr. Barsad. You may stand down.
Hold on a minute there.
Huh? Who is this man?
I am an associate of the counsel for the defense. Sidney Cotton, at your service. I wish to ask the witness if he is quite sure it was the prisoner he saw.
Of course I'm sure. It was him and no other.
Did you ever see anybody very like the prisoner?
Not to be mistaken.
I will take off my wig. Look well at me and then at the prisoner. Could you not mistake me for him?
Mr. Cotton, you are trying to confuse my witness.
He's confused already. I ask the court if what happens once may not happen twice. I ask the court if the witness would have been so confident had he seen me before. I ask the court whether it may not now try Sidney Cotton for treason as sensibly as Charles Darnay.
Well, we have brought you off with honor, Mr. Darnay, in spite of that lying Barsad.
I am most grateful, Mr. Lorry. As for you, Monsieur Cotton, I owe you my life.
A great debt to owe for a small accident.
Can you forgive me, Mr. Darnay?
Indeed, Miss Manette, I am sure your testimony did me more good than harm.
Well, we must not stand here in the night fog. As a physician, will you not order us to our homes, Dr. Manette?
What did you say?
Mr. Lorry thinks we should go home, Father.
You look at me very strangely, Doctor. Is anything wrong?
No, nothing, Mr. Darnay. I thought for a moment that I knew your face, but it is nothing.
Come away, Father.
Yes, my dear. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Carter. Mr. Darnay. Once again, my
night.
congratulations.
Must be a strange night to you, Mr. Darnay, standing alone here in the street with your double.
I hardly seem to belong to this world at all.
I don't wonder. It's not so long since you were on your way to another. You sound faint.
I think I am.
Then why don't you dine? My arm, my friend. I'll show you to the best bottle of wine in Fleet Street. Are you back in the world yet, Mr. Darnay?
I think so.
As for me, I only want to forget I belong to it. There's no good in it for me except this wine. Here, let me pour for you.
Thank you.
Call a health, Mr. Darnay. Give your toast.
What toast?
Why, it's on the tip of your tongue. I'll swear it is.
Miss Manette, then.
Miss Manette, then. That's a fair young lady to be pitied by and have weep for you. Worth risking your life for, eh?
You remind me, I have not thanked you enough for giving me back my life.
I want no thanks. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Darnay.
Willingly?
Do you think I like you particularly?
You act as if you do, but I don't think you do.
And I don't think I do. I'm beginning to respect your understanding.
Nevertheless, I hope I may call the reckoning and part kindly with you.
You may. And if you call the whole reckoning, order me another pint of this wine.
I will.
A last word, Mr. Darnay. You think I'm drunk?
I think you have been drinking.
You know I've been drinking.
I know it then.
Then you shall know why. I'm a disappointed grudge, sir. A great liar gone wrong. The jackal at the lion's feast. I care for no man, and no man cares for me.
You might have used your talents better.
Maybe so, Mr. Darnay. But don't think too much of your own sober face. You don't know what it may come to.
I thank you for the advice, Monsieur Cotton. Good night.
Good night. More wine there. Good night, sober man. Do I like you? Confound you, Cotton. Why should you like a man who resembles you? Much there is in you to like. Like a man who shows you what might have been. Change places with him, and you'd have been looked at by those blue eyes as he was. Have it out in plain words, Cotton. You hate the fellow.
It's like living out in the country, this house. Is it not, Mr. Darnay?
So the magical corner of London, Mr. Loy. They're more magical because the good doctor and Miss Manette live here.
I find it so, too.
They should return soon.
Have you seen the whole house?
Yes. Mr. Lorry, perhaps you can give me the answer to a question.
I would try.
In the doctor's bedroom, I have seen a shoemaker's bench and a tray of tools. Why does he keep them there?
I wonder, too. Miss Lucy tells me that she hears him sometimes in the night walking up and down like a man in a cell. But he never speaks.
This looks like serious business for such a quiet day.
Oh, come in, Mr. Cotton.
I am in.
Cotton?
You are a mirror that sticks like a shadow, Mr. Darnay. I do not see a man all my life. Then, during 4 months, I see no one else.
I think I hear Miss Manette and the doctor.
They may be quite far off still. This corner picks up all the echoes from 3 streets around.
I've noticed it, too. Sometimes there seem to be 1,000 footsteps here, and no one comes.
They are here, nonetheless.
Lucy, I was sure we would have
Come back, Mr. Carson.
Lucy?
My dear
Doctor?
friend,
Gentlemen.
sit down. We shall have tea at once.
Ah, you've come home in good time, Doctor. We shall have a storm, I think.
No storms come into this house, Mr. Lorry. My Lucy keeps them out.
Where have you been walking?
We have been out looking at some of the old buildings along Temple Bar.
Here is the storm we were promised.
Yes, in big drops. It comes slowly.
It comes surely.
The people are hurrying home in every street.
Multitude of footsteps and not a soul to be seen.
A multitude and yet solitude.
Sometimes I have sat here and listened and thought those footsteps were all the people who are coming into our lives by and by.
There is a great crowd coming, if that is so.
Are they coming to all of us, or only to you?
It is only a fancy, Mr. Darnay, but I have thought into my life and my father.
I take them into mine.
Have a care, Mr. Carton. Speak not so warmly of the mob.
I accept them. I ask no questions. It is a great crowd, and I see them by the lightning. And I hear them. Come one, come all. Come fierce, and come furious.
The footsteps come, fierce and furious. And in the quarter of Saint Antoine, they herald another visitor, one who wants no part of a mob. Saint Antoine should be honored, but the honor is lost upon it. It runs away and pulls its children, when it can, from under the visitors' chariot wheels.
What's that?
What is the matter? Why do we stop?
An accident, Monseigneur. The coachman has got down.
Well, get him up again. What has gone wrong out there?
Oh, no, Monsieur le Marquis. It is a child. The horse trod upon it.
That man, why does he make that abominable noise? Is it his child?
Excuse me, Monsieur le Marquis. It is a pity, yes.
My child. Mon pauvre enfant, monsieur.
still. He's dead.
It is extraordinary to me that you people cannot take care of yourselves and your children. One or the other of you is forever in the way. How do I know what you have done to my horses? There is a gold piece. Enough of this noise.
He's dead.
Be afraid, man, my friend. It is better so. He has died in a moment without pain. He could not have lived an hour as happily.
Ah, you are a philosopher, you there. How do they call you?
They call me Defarge.
Of what trade?
Monsieur le Marquis, vendor of wine.
Ah, there is gold for you too, vendor of wine. Pick it up and spend it as you will. The horses there, are they all right?
Oui, monseigneur.
Drive on.
There is your money, dog.
Hold the horses. Who threw that coin? Where is that man? You there, woman. You with the knitting. You stood near him. Ah, you dogs. I would ride over every one of you and exterminate you from the earth. Drive on there. To the chateau. My nephew, Monsieur Charles. Is he arrived from England?
He is within, Monsieur le Marquis.
Good evening, Charles. Or shall I say Monsieur Danet? That is your name now, eh?
Good evening, sir.
I would have been here to receive you. There was an inconvenience in the village.
Not a great one, I trust.
Not as great as I'm sure you do trust, my dear nephew. As we drew up to the posting house gate, I noticed the people staring at my coach. There was one, a man of Rhodes. He told a strange tale of a man who had been clinging to a chain beneath the coach and who dropped off at the top of the hill and disappeared.
Clinging to a chain?
It is likely the road mender invented the tale to get gold. These lying dogs.
You will not search for the man then?
To what purpose? You have been a long time coming, Charles.
But I am back now for my old purpose, though it may carry me to death.
Oh, that is not necessary, Charles. Not to death.
But you would not pull me back from the brink. I am sure your diplomacy will stop at no means to prevent me from attaining my purpose.
Please recall that I told you so long ago.
I recall it.
Oh, thank you. What was that?
Huh? Where?
Outside the blinds. Open them.
I see nothing.
Well, then.
You were thinking of the man under the coach?
I was thinking of nothing. You were saying...
I was saying that it is a good thing for me that you have no longer the king's ear and could not have me thrown into prison.
It is not a good thing, Charles. These gentle aids to the honor of families are too difficult to obtain now. It used not to be so. Once we could assert our station properly.
We've asserted our station enough to make Evremont the most detested name in France.
Ah, let us hope it is so. It is a compliment.
We have done wrong, sir. We are reaping the fruits of wrong.
We?
Our family. Our honorable family. We've injured every human creature who stood between us and our pleasure.
And why not, my friend? In your father's time...
It is your time, too. Nothing can separate you.
Ah, death has done that.
And has left me trying to undo some of the wrongs of the day.
You dishonor the dead.
My father, not my mother. With her last word, she begged me to have mercy, to redress. And now I spend my life seeking power and assistance in vain.
You will seek them forever in vain if you seek them from me. You would do better to be rational and accept your destiny. But you are lost, I see, Monsieur Charles.
This property and France are lost to me. I renounce them.
This property is not yours to renounce. Not yet.
But when it is, I shall abandon it. It is a wilderness of misery and ruin. There is a curse on this land.
Ah, you prefer England, for example?
Yes, England. where I bring no disgrace to the family, nor it to me.
England is very attractive to you, seeing how badly you have prospered there.
I can thank you for my prospering there. I know who paid Bassad to accuse me. But England is my refuge.
And the refuge of many. You know another Frenchman who has found refuge there? A doctor?
Yes?
With a daughter?
Yes?
Yes. So commences the new philosophy. Oh, you must be fatigued, Monsieur Darnay. I will have your chamber lighted. Good repose.
Night and the quiet are upon everything. Upon the marquis, within the gauze curtains that enfold his bed. Upon the carved stone faces that stare from under the eaves of the chateau. Upon the fountain dropping unseen and unheard. Upon the people of the village asleep and dreaming of ease and banquets. Upon Saint Antoine far away. Upon all France. And when the night has passed and the routine of life is astir again, all things are as usual. All things. Then what news is it that the birds carry over the fields, so that the mender of roads on the sultry morning runs down the hill knee-high in dust? What news that the tocsin rings above the carved stone faces that show no surprise?
Monsieur Charles! Monsieur Charles!
Yes? What is it, man? Speak.
Quickly, Monsieur Charles. Come quickly. Monseigneur! Monseigneur!
Great heavens.
I found him so, monsieur.
A knife through his heart. So, uncle, stone faces have a new companion. What is that paper on the knife? Drive him fast to his tomb. This from a man called Jacques.
The footsteps have come into the chamber. The footsteps carrying the knife into lives as yet untouched by its bite.
A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens is one of the world's great novels brought to you each week by the National Broadcasting Company. Listen next week to the second episode of A Tale of Two Cities. And don't forget that your local public library can be the source of great entertainment. To enhance your enjoyment of this series, we recommend the Handbook of the World's Great Novels, which you may obtain by sending 25 cents to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. That's Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. A Tale of Two Cities is adapted for radio by Clarice A. Ross. The music was composed by Dick Shores, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Geraldine Kay is featured as Lucy, and Jonathan Hole as Sidney Cotton. The narration is by Sherman Marks. Charles Darnay is played by Ken Nordine, Dr. Manette by Maurice Copeland, Jarvis Laurie by Jess Pugh, Defarge by Ken Griffin, the Marquis by Sid Breeze, the lawyer by George Kluge, and Barsad by Ted Liss. This is John Conrad. This program comes to you from Chicago and is a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.